Alright guys, thanks for tuning in again. Another weekly, bi-weekly, bi-daily update on the shop and Kydex bending and life in general, product reviews, whatever. So you know how much I love bending Kydex. This stuff is a lot of fun to work with, and part of how to make some of these edges and these curves so smooth is I use this really cool bench grinder that I got from my dad, who I believe got it back in the 80s. It's a old Chinese piece of junk, but I wanted to do an upgrade. There's been a lot of desire for me to want to bring this dust-making monster into the shop so I can, not keep it warm, but so I can stay warm with a little heater in the shop. And part of the problem with that is the dust. It makes so much dust. What I did normally is the bench grinder here and the wire wheel and the buffing wheel and all that stuff was kept out in the garage, and the garage is just an absolute mess, and there's no more room for stuff out there. I mean, I can make room and set up a table for it, but I really wanted to make a dust collector for this. And on the internet there's all these plans, and there's people who have done different dust collection boxes, but I'm going to try something brand new. I'm going to attempt to make, and have been piecing together, a clear plexiglass dust collection box. So what you're going to be able to do is dust or grind, sand in the shop here, and see all the dust coming down here and sucking into a hole that I'm going to draw or drill in the bottom here, and then the vacuum's going to go down here where the garbage can is. But the idea is that you're going to be able to not only I'm going to be able to cover that switch, which is notoriously dusty all the time. All that stuff just falls right in the same path and covers, and you always get your hand just completely dust covered. And dust also gets all over, just a little bit you can kind of see, the dust also gets all over the motor, and it gets sucked into the motor and the brushes, and it just gets everywhere. And I'm going to blow this thing off once it's all complete and glue this up with some clear silicone. I'm going to dab some dots of super glue to hold it in place and silicone the whole thing up. I'm going to take my heat gun, and right along this edge where you can see these two little marks, I'm going to take my heat gun, and it's about the same temperature I've just found out as Kydex is for bending, about 250 to 350 degrees, and it starts to become pliable. Instead of cutting this off and making an additional top piece and trying to figure out that angle and stuff, I'm just going to give it an angle. I'm going to set something down here so it doesn't fall all the way down, probably like 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches thick, so I still get a lot of suction, and all the dust that's flying off this belt just goes right down into this chamber box. The other thing I got to do is make a tiny little piece for down in here, about 1 inch tall and about the 5 1/4 inches wide, which is how wide this is, to stop a lot of the dust from coming back and landing on this. So I started with this top piece that goes over the motor, and then this angled piece, this guy right here, are the most important back pieces. And I had a lot of plexiglass lying around, so I was originally just going to do up this whole box, and then I decided I really wanted to concentrate that sucking power right on the belt. Instead of making a giant chamber that wouldn't necessarily have that much sucking power, I wanted to concentrate that right on the belt. Now, I don't really use this wheel all the time. I'm contemplating taking that off, but I do use it every once in a while, so I'm going to also make a bracket that attaches to either this bar or this block that adjusts the angle of the table here, to just clamp on and have like an O holder to hold the same vacuum tube that I would plug into the bottom of this. Just going to plug it right up in here because this wheel spins this way, and all that dust just shoots down and kind of all over in this area. So I'm just going to have a holder here for the vacuum hose. And eventually I'd like to, of course, have the vacuum attached to a dust cyclone or cyclone dust collector to save the filters. But again, everything in the shop and everything that I do here is kind of based on work coming into the shop and not, the day job money. So all this stuff is just kind of, piece by piece and playing with it together. But I just got a whole bunch of pieces of this giant plexiglass stuff. I got a lot left over still, and pieces all around the shop, but most of this is your 5/8 or 1/4 inch plexiglass. I've just been cutting away at it using clamps and straight edge and a marker and a good old jigsaw, and it stinks when you cut it. Been learning that, and it's definitely not as easy to work with as Kydex. But it's definitely been an interesting challenge making this. And we'll see how it goes in the next video that I post on this. It should be complete, and I'm going to pick up the vacuum in the next couple days, drill this hole out in the bottom, seal it all up, give it a couple test runs, and then show you guys how it works. And you should be able to see, well, you will be able to see all the dust just coming through here and getting sucked right into the vacuum instead of going all over the shop and over all the tools and over all my stuff. So first ever, I believe. I've never seen anybody else attempt this. I've seen a lot of, dust collectors and dust boxes and stuff made out of wood, stuff made out of, PVC pipe, where you just take a PVC pipe and cut a slot in it and stick it on the end here. And this is gonna be the first ever clear dust collection box for a bench sander. So stay tuned. See you guys in the next video.